Hi everyone. It's Queen here, Queen Ofori, and I am excited. I have some good things to talk about, so I might do two separate videos. If you see the same outfit, disregard. But yeah, let's just get into it. Welcome to anyone that is new to this channel, to me, and if we already know one another, thank you for watching and listening to me. It's probably feeling like we're having a conversation because we are. Definitely write in the chat or comment on the page or wherever this is being shared. Just feel free to say what you want to say and then I'll get back to you. But I'm so happy that you're joining me and you're listening and you're subscribing and all that good stuff. So thank you in advance. And so today I have a good one, a good topic. I have two good topics, or maybe a couple, who knows. But right now, in this moment, we're going to be talking about one. And what that is a nighttime routine. I have actually two nighttime routines and hacks and things like that I feel like, one in which specifically I've done that has really resonated and helped me move forward in self-awareness and confidence and so many things, and then another which I recently learned that I wanted to share, we can do that actively together. This is interactive, so you could tell me how it goes for you and then we could talk about it. But I definitely feel good vibes off of it, so I'm going to implement it a lot more. So again, nighttime routine hack, whatever you want to title it, is for the nighttime before you go to bed to kind of help move you forward, but also to help you to reflect as well. So both reflection and the ability to move forward from whatever you uncover will happen if you do possibly both, but this first one is the one that I've been doing for a while. So let me share that one first. So one of the things I do at night, and it helps if you like to write, if you like to journal. If not, you can try it out in using different methods. But the theme is basically you get a journal or you have something to record your thoughts, typically a journal, but you can record it over voice memo, or if you just want to talk it out with a friend, you can. I write it down, so I'm going to tell you how I do it, and you can just take any information I ever mention and of course use your discretion and do whatever you like to do with it. But the results, this is how I've done it, so this is how I'm going to share it, and then you can take that information and run with it. And so yes, to accelerate your life, to build self-awareness, to build confidence, all these things, this is what I do. Amongst many things, this is one of the things I do at night. So when my day has, wind down and I'm in bed, possibly like an hour before my typical bedtime, when I typically go to bed, I take out my journal and I make 3 columns. One column, I title it WW. I title it WW. Let me enunciate. I title it WW. That's one column. So there's 3. And then the middle column, I put WDW. And then the last column, I title it DDMF. Now, let's start with WW. So what worked? That's what WW stands for. That's the first column. And I only choose 3 things. You can have a million things, but I choose my top 3 things that worked for that day. So today, let's just say it's February 30th. Is that even a day? Okay, let's just say, let me give you a real day. Okay, let's say it's February 28th. Okay, WW, first column, my top 3. And then it's an internal thing. So I go within and I'm like, what are the 3 top things that worked? Hopefully, again, it's a million, but the 3 top things. So let's say I did yoga, I talked to my mom, and I got my glasses. Those are my top 3 things that work. It's not just a matter of it worked and it was cool, but as I said, when I go into it, like, these are the things that make me feel really good today. And if you're having an off day, which we sometimes have, or a day where it feels like nothing, it's also similar to a gratitude list. Like, if you can't even say, hey, this worked, what are you even thankful for? Which is what worked. What worked? I had a bed to sleep in. What worked? It was a nice weather outside. What worked? My legs worked. What words or what you're thankful for. It can both be listed, but it's your top 3. We can go over 3, but we just kind of want to keep it simple because once you do it a lot, then you can add like your top 5, your top 10. But I want it also, even for me when I was doing it, and the reason why I was able to sustain it was that it was easy. Whenever we want to build a habit, we want to make it as easy as possible. We don't want to try to do too much. So let's start with our top 3. So what worked? WW. I have my top 3. I said yoga, talk to my mama, and what else? I got my glasses. I made those. Well, those are usually, anyway, whatever worked. I just think of something that, could work, but those are things that work for me. So they're usually somewhat on my list. But okay, so we have our first column. Then we have our second column, what didn't work, right? And that we have a long list, but back to what I said, we do our top 3. So top 3 things, and this is internal. Take a deep breath, go inside. What didn't work? I thought about someone too much. I was on social media too much, or I didn't call my mama. What 3 things did not work? It could have been a million things, God forbid, but what were the 3 things that really felt like they put a damper on your day, or it just hindered you, or things that you want to work on, or things that you're like, hey, I don't want it to be like this tomorrow, right? Your top 3, right? So you have what worked, you have what didn't work. Now, based on what you have, DDMF is do differently moving forward. So based on what you've written, what you're aware of, what worked, you definitely want to do more of what worked. So keep that, build on that. You want to look at what didn't work, and now you want to say, based on that second column, because it's progressive, based on that second column, what am I going to do differently moving forward? So I'm trying to remember what I said didn't work, but let's just say didn't call my mom was one of them. Call my mom or text her tomorrow. Put that as 1, and back to 3. For all these columns, you're just doing 3. This is to start. If the second one was thought about someone too much, whenever I think about someone, I will say this affirmation. Whenever I think about someone, I will be mindful to stop. Whenever I think about someone, I will just call them, right? And then the other one was on social media too much. That was what was it? What didn't work? That was on that list. So only go on social media 2 times a day, morning and night, at for 20 minutes. So you just want to write things to correct what didn't work for the future. So what you're going to do. And then the good thing about it is, what I've noticed is when I've done it, so when I was able to look at what didn't work and then put what I would do differently moving forward, even if I slipped up and did what didn't work the next day, even if, because most of the times I didn't, even if, because I wrote down what I would do differently moving forward, I caught it so much quicker. Like I caught it and I was able to shift it just in writing it down, just in, and even if I didn't write down, just in being aware. So that's why I said, even if you don't write it down, at one time I think I had spoke to someone and I did this. I was like, what 3 things worked for you today? And they didn't even know I was doing it with them, I don't think. But I was like, what didn't work? What would you do differently? Like, even in having that conversation, just allowing your mind to know, like, hey, I saw that and I noticed it didn't work. Hey, I saw that, I noticed it did work. I'm going to do more of this, or I'm not going to do this at all. All those things are helpful, because if you keep doing it every day, you'll start to feel different. Like, you'll start to become more aware of how you feel and what's good for you and what you should be involving yourself in. Like, I loved when I did yoga. It worked for me. I need to go back to doing that, or I need to find another method of exercise, because I notice every time in my what work column is always exercise. Like, back to what I said, it will help you to be more aware. And it will definitely boost your confidence in the sense of when you start actually implementing what's in your do differently moving forward column, you'll feel good about yourself. Like, because depending on how you structure your journal, you can possibly see what you obviously wrote the night before. So if you see like, hey, I didn't do this, or I didn't do this as much, or if you see like, hey, I keep doing this, you can make another choice. And what is it? I think it's there's a saying like self-awareness sometimes leads to, not sometimes, it leads to self-management, or sometimes self-management leads to confidence, whatever. The more you're able to govern yourself and your actions and decide on like, hey, this is what I'm doing and I did X, Y, and Z, it just helps boost your confidence, because now you're doing more of what works and less of what doesn't, or at least you know, and you can make that choice instead of like naturally doing it. So all that to say, try that hack at night. And why at night? Because you have to obviously reflect so that you can make different choices the next day. If you did it in the morning, It works, but I've never done it in the morning, so I can't speak to it. I do it at night. Um, if you try it and you like it, fine. But regardless, the purpose of it is to grow in awareness, to reflect over your day, um, to reflect over your actions, over your thoughts and things like that, and figure out what is making you feel good and do more of that, and what's not, do less of it, basically. So feed the good, basically. But yeah, I hope it works for you. Please keep me posted if it does. Let me know if you've been doing it, how long you've been doing it. Maybe we share that in common. But I am so grateful that you're here on this channel watching, and I definitely hope that it impacts your journey. And so yes, keep me posted. Thank you for being here, and talk to you soon.